In this video, I will show you how to progress through the first C in Sailor Peeps so that you can become a pro that's ready for C2. Now let's start at the beginning. At the beginning, you'll start as a level 0 noob at Starter Island. Now, the first thing you do before you do anything in the game is to make your life easier. Go into settings, then scroll down until you see enable quest repeat. Turn that on and also turn on auto quest repeat. What this does is that if you go to talk to this NPC and you start the quest, so start the quest for this NPC, and let's say you defeat 5 thieves. Instead of going back to the NPC to do the quest again, you'll notice that without even talking to him, I have the quest once again because of this setting. It makes your life easier and it allows you to AFK. Now, what you want to do is you want to join the game's group and you want to talk to this NPC called the Group Reward NPC. This NPC will give you currency, such as money, which will allow you to buy your first sword in the game. So talk to the katana seller and you'll be able to buy the katana for 2.5 thousand money. Now let's equip the katana sword. This sword is good, especially if you're a beginner, because look, its Z move, it has a decent AoE and it's got decent range. So you can get a bunch of these NPCs and with one skill, boom, 3 of them already gone. And its X skill is good as well because it's a small AoE, but you can control it. Now, to make life easier for you, I would suggest doing a glass cannon build. So what that would look like is that, let's say for every stat you get, I would dump it all into sword at this point. Now, the reason we do this is simply so we can one-shot every NPC. And since you have the Z move, there's no reason you should be close to the NPCs. And the X move also helps you as well. So you're going to put your stats all into sword. And once your stats are all into sword and you start one-shotting these NPCs and get a few levels, you can immediately just start heading over to Jungle Island. You can also do this quest over here for the thief boss, but I would low-key just skip it. Now let's go to Jungle Island, and the next quest location is located right here. Now you're going to want to defeat these monkeys until you one-shot them again. You'll notice that when you talk to the NPC, it says level 250. However, it's important to note that you actually don't need to be level 250 to accept the quest. There's no quest requirement for any quest in the game, meaning that even a level 1 noob can go to the highest level quest and take it on. The only issue with that is that you have to be strong enough to defeat the mobs to complete the quest. So it's more of a vibe check. So the vibe check, in my opinion, is once you start one-shotting enemies or you feel like you're leveling up too slow, just head to the next island. So grind this until you start one-shotting, and we're going to go to the next island. The next island is the Desert Island. Now, let me tell you guys something quite important. The quest NPC is right over here, but before we even talk to this guy, why don't we move over to this NPC, the Observation Hockey Trainer. You want to buy this once you have 250,000 money and 300 gems. You might be asking me, what is observation hockey? I don't know what it is. What is observation hockey? It's quite simple. So let me just attack one of these NPCs, okay? You'll notice that I'm not taking any damage. That's because if you look at the bottom left of my screen, it says dodges. The dodges is actually my observation hockey. You can level that up just by dodging attacks. And to make your life easier again, let's go to your settings, go to your auto skill settings, auto hockey settings, enable auto armament hockey and auto observation hockey. You only have observation at this point, but enable armament hockey because we're going to get that later in the video. So once you enable that, just keep fighting these NPCs until, again, you just one-shot them or you feel like you're leveling up too slow. And there's another quest NPC over here, and there's a boss that you can defeat right here called the Desert Boss. You guys can fight him for as long as you guys want, and remember, there's no level requirement for quest. So we're just gonna dip. The next area is Snow Island. First off, if we go to this NPC right here, we have the Dark Blade seller. You're going to want to buy the Dark Blade. It's 250,000 money and 150 gems. The Dark Blade is an upgraded katana. Basically, let me show you the Z move. The Z move, basically, it's kind of like your other Z move, but a little bit different. And let's see the X move. The X move looks like this, guys. Wow, you see how good that is? You can immediately defeat 5 NPCs at once if you angle it correct. The Dark Blade's really OP for beginners. And again, there's a quest for the NPCs. And the boss NPC quest is located right here. And the boss is the Winter Warden. But there's 2 more important things I need to say to you guys. First things first, head to the back of Snow Island. I want to talk to this hockey trainer. This hockey trainer basically gives you armament hockey. Now, you're going to want armament hockey because it gives you a damage buff. If we go into my stats stats, we can see that my armament hockey gives me a 75.5% damage boost. That's pretty good. And you guys can check your hockey levels if you go into your stats, click this question mark thing, and bam, you can see your hockey levels and stuff. But Snow Island has one more important thing. Why don't we go and talk to the artifact milestone NPC? Or you can talk to this NPC. First, you want to unlock the artifact system by going into your inventory or just talking to this NPC. And you'll need a certain amount. You need to be like, I believe, like level 2500 to unlock artifacts. Once you reach the required level for artifacts, after you unlock the artifact system, and once you defeat the NPCs, they'll occasionally drop you artifacts. And you can also talk to this NPC, and simply it's just artifact collection. Each time you get a level up in the system, you get rewards. You also increase your drop chances when you upgrade your data bank level, and to upgrade that, you basically just get artifacts. So every artifact you get is an experience point for that. Now let's go to the next island, guys. The next island we are going to is Sailor Island. This is where you're going to encounter your first boss in the game, like your first real boss. You can defeat this boss and you can obtain either the Solo Hunter Sword or the Vampire King melee, because every 5 minutes or so a new boss will spawn. It's either the Vampire King or the Solo Hunter boss, and you can get their melees at either this side of the island for the Solo Hunter boss, or you can get the Vampire King at this boss. You just need to get its materials and whatever you need. Now, more importantly, we are going to go to this house over here. Let's start with our rerolls. Check your inventory and see what rerolls you have. Reroll your clan to the best clan you can get right now. Reroll your race, but to reroll your trait, you'll notice that if you click the trait rerolls, you can't re-roll it. You have to talk to the trait NPC at this house in Sailor Island. And just keep rolling until you get a good trait. But we're not done here, guys. We have the stat reroll NPC. Now, since you guys are newer players, just get the highest stat level you guys can get. Just upgrade everything once you guys can. We also have the fruit dealers over here for coins. And then you can talk to the jump fruit dealer. If you have a fruit you want to store, you can go into your inventory, storage, and then let's scroll down and you'll notice that the fruits bag is here. So we'll just put our light fruit there and it's stored there. It's kind of cheap with the amount of gems you get and it doesn't cost Robux to unlock. So I would unlock that as fast as possible, guys. And also you can go to the titles NPC or go to your inventories and your titles and equip the title that you guys desire. If you want luck, get a luck title, and damage, do your best damage title if you can. Now, before we leave, we still have a few more things here. We have a merchant NPC here where you can buy boss keys, hockey color rerolls, race rerolls, a bunch of stuff. But low key, it's kind of useless when you get to the later stages of the game, but it's a good boost for new players. Now, if we go over to the Ascension NPC, you'll notice that I have ascended to level 10 and I get a bunch of buffs. To ascend, basically, you'll need to do certain quests and get certain materials by defeating NPCs around the map. And before we leave, we have the boss rush area. So first, we have the boss rush shop. You can buy the sun armor, which is a good accessory to have, rerolls, keys, and other stuff. But more importantly, we have the boss rush upgrade shop. Now this is where you guys buy upgrades. So look, I just upgraded my HP stat and I just got 30% more HP. And to get brush coins, you just do boss rush. It's basically spawning a bunch of bosses. I would recommend easy since you guys are newer players. Now we're gonna go to the next island, guys. And the next island in the video game is Shabuya Station. Shabuya Station's very, very important. First off, we have more melees that you guys can unlock. So if we defeat the Cursed Vessel boss, that we can get accessories from him, as well as his drop. Same thing with the Limitless Sorcerer. And we can get the Cursed King melee spec as well. I suggest you guys get some of these because you can get like Gojo and Sukuna V2 later in the game. But if we talk to this NPC over here, we can buy the Griffon sword. Now this sword is probably the best sword for beginners. Let me explain why. Let's just use the Z skill. It's got a decent dash, but we realistically use the X skill here, guys. So let's go right here and just use the X skill and bam, we defeat all 5 NPCs with just that skill. It's got a low cooldown as well, so you can low-key AFK here. Now, before we leave Shabuya, level up your observation hockey and your armament hockey because we're going to unlock Conqueror's hockey. To unlock Conqueror's hockey, follow me. And you should just do the Conqueror Hockey Trainer Quest, and you'll get Conqueror's Hockey. The reason you get it is because, first of all, if you press the Conqueror's Hockey button, It does decent damage and has a good AoE, but I wouldn't get it just for the move. I would get it for the damage buff. If we look at our Conqueror's Hockey, we get a 34% damage boost. So get that, guys. The next island is Hollow Island. Again, you guys know the drill. Just defeat NPCs here, but there's something interesting about this island. We have the Manipulator boss. Defeat him. Trust me. The reason you defeat him is because we can get his sword, which is the Manipulator Sword. The Manipulator Sword, it's a pretty good sword, especially for beginners. And to get that, we head to this part of the island, and you talk to the Manipulator Trainer. And now, for later, we need to talk to this NPC and do the Hogyoku quest. What this basically means is that you'll complete a quest to unlock the Soul Dominion area. I'll talk about that later in the video. Now, let's go to the next area. The next area in the game is Boss Island. Now, if you come to this island, there's no real way to level up here. You realistically go to this NPC and you spawn bosses with certain drops you get by defeating NPCs around the map. And you can also get boss tickets to get the Soul Reaper Sword. I would obviously recommend that you get the Soul Reaper Sword. The Soul Reaper Sword does a great amount of damage, but it's definitely a grind. You can stick with the Griffon Sword if you want. Now, you guys can get the King of Heroes melee, which is the best melee for AFKing because its V skill is super spammable. And if we go over here, we can get the Ice Queen Sword. So we can get the Ice Queen Sword, which is the best sword in the game, and it does a stupid amount of damage. But remember, you need to summon the Ice Queen boss and get her materials. Now, let's go to the next island, guys. The next island is the Dungeon Island. Again, guys, you can't really level up here, but we can do dungeons. You'll need to find, I think, 6 puzzle pieces around the map, and you guys can do the Sid dungeon or the double dungeon. If you guys are wondering what that's for, it's for the Shadow Sword and the Shadow Monarch Sword. But the most important dungeon isn't the Sid dungeon or the double dungeon. It is the Rune dungeon, because we can get you runes. Runes basically give you stats, and I recommend that you grind until you get the Fortune Rune for a luck build and a Havoc Rune for a damage build. It will significantly help you guys progress in the game. The next island is Shinjuku Island. Now, this island, first off, we can get Gojo and Sukuna V2 if we head over here, and we just summon the bosses here, and you guys can find the NPCs to unlock the melees and in these buildings. But more importantly, guys, if you have the Quake Fruit, you guys can do an OP AFK method for a lot of chests. Just stand here and use the Quake C. You'll defeat NPCs on the right side and the left side at once. The next island is Slime Island. This island is important because, first off, you guys can do the quest over here as usual, but we have the skill tree. Unlock the skill tree, and for every stat point you get, which you get by defeating 250 NPCs, you guys can upgrade these stats. So you guys can upgrade your damage, crit damage, luck, crit chance, and HP stats here. Also at this island, you can craft slime keys by getting slime shards, which are obtained by defeating NPCs right here. You gotta defeat the slime warriors. And with that, you can get slime keys and summon the slime boss to get the slime sword. And to get the slime sword, you just talk to this NPC after you get the materials. Now let's move on to the next island, guys. The next island is Academy Island. Again, guys, you can level up here. You can level up by defeating these NPCs over here and doing their quests. And you can also get the Demon King melee spec. I would recommend that you get the Demon King melee spec. And first you need to get Calamity Seals. So just spawn the Demon King and defeat him and get his materials, and you can get his melee spec by talking to the NPC up here. It's a good melee spec. It's not the best in the game, but it's definitely worth going after if you're a newer player. After Academy Islands, we have Judgment Islands. This island has 2 important things. First off, well, I guess as usual, there's NPCs you can defeat here, but we have the Yamato boss. If we defeat him and get his materials, we can talk to an NPC over here. We talk to the Yamato NPC over here, and we can unlock the Yamato sword. It's a good sword. It does a lot of damage, and it's probably the best sword you guys can get up to this point. So I'd recommend getting it for it if you guys can. So if you guys can get the sword, it's definitely worth getting. But before we leave, you guys might have defeated a bunch of NPCs by now. So if we can go into your inventory and look at passive shards, you should have quite a few of them. You might be asking me, what do I do with my passive shards, man? I don't know what to do with my passive shards. Talk to the spec passive NPC at this island. I recommend that you go for Fortune Chosen. If you're doing a luck build or a farming build, it's a great option. But if you want pure damage, Rampage is the best. Now let's go to the next island, guys. The next island after Judgment Island is Soul Dominion. Now this area might be locked if you did not do the Hogyoku quest at Hollow Island earlier. Now if you did what I guys told you to do, first off, defeat these NPCs over here and you'll get Chrysalis Sigils eventually. And with Chrysalis Sigils, you'll be able to talk to this NPC over here and you can summon the True Manipulator boss. Defeat this bad boy and you'll get some of the materials for the True Manipulator sword. After that, we can talk to the True Manipulator NPC and we can buy the True Manipulator sword. If you get the sword, this is definitely the best sword you can get up to this point. The next island is Ninja Island, guys. You can defeat NPCs here for XP, but there's also a cool AFK farm you guys can do. First off, if you have Gojo V2, stand right here, guys, and use the V skill. And notice, I will defeat the Madara NPC and the Ninja NPCs over here. So we'll defeat both of these, which makes it a very good place to AFK farm Madara. So I recommend that you guys do that if you want to AFK Madara. Obviously, I just mentioned Madara. It's also known as the strongest shinobi. Defeat him and you guys can get the strongest shinobi melee. This melee, the strongest shinobi, is probably the best melee in the game overall. Overall, it's probably the best melee in the game. And you can obtain it by talking to the strongest shinobi NPC right here. So just get what you guys need for it and obtain it. Now, if we head to Lawless Islands, we have probably the best place to AFK. First, if you have the King of Heroes melee, equip it, auto spawn the atomic boss, stand underneath these trees, aim at the atomic boss, and use the V skill. So notice that I am defeating the arena fighters and the atomic boss at once. And keep in mind, guys, we are getting abyss sigils from defeating the NPCs here, meaning that we can kind of do an infinite farm for the atomic boss. And the atomic boss drops pretty good stuff, but we can get the atomic sword over here. You guys gotta do a quest for the atomic sword, but you also have to have the shadow sword, which you guys could have got at Dungeon Island. The atomic sword is a very stupid and broken sword, so get it. You guys will probably use it in C2, I'm gonna be honest. Also, before we leave, you'll notice that you probably have had power shards. You get these by defeating NPCs, guys. After you get power shards, talk to the power NPC at Lawless Island, and I would aim for either of the mythical powers because they give good buffs. Now let's head to the final island in the game, guys. The Tower Island. It's similar to the boss rush, guys. You just clear waves in the Infinite Tower by talking to the Infinite Tower NPC. We also have a tower upgrade shop, which can upgrade our stats like the boss rush shop. And we also have a tower shop for stuff over here. You guys can get the Abyssal Emperor sword and the Abyssal outfit as well. But you can also get the two best runes in the game by doing the Infinite Tower. You guys can get the Primordial rune, which is super rare to get, but also the best rune in the game for a damage build. And you can also get the Radiant rune, which is the best rune in the game for a luck build. But this is where your pain, suffering, and agony starts. If your luck stat is not high, oh boy, I'm sorry. It's gonna take you hours, if not days, to get one of these runes. So, good luck with that. But believe it or not, that is the end of our progression guide for C1. When C2 comes out, there will be an island where you can travel to C2. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel because I post tons of Sailor Piece content and guides. Remember, be an angel, and until next time.